everyone. Pandas is an open-source Python package that is most widely used for data science and data analysis, and machine learning tasks. It is built on top of another package named NumPy, which provides support for multi-dimensional arrays. Pandas library comes with Anaconda distribution, so you don't need to pip install Pandas if you have Anaconda on your machine. Otherwise, you need to it individually. In this video series, I'm using Microsoft Excel as an integrated development environment or IDE. My aim in this series is to work within Microsoft Excel and using Python and specifically Pandas. Under the hood. At the end of this video series, I will provide you with a shareable PDF file with everything you need to know to get started. Before starting, I want to mention something. All the files that I'm using in this video series are from Kaggle.com. So if you really want more information about the accuracy of the data, please check Kaggle.com. Without wasting more time, let's get started. First, we want to use a CSV dataset, a CSV file called c19.csv, and use the Pandas read CSV method. Behind the scene, I've already imported Pandas as PD. PD is a shortcut of Pandas, so it's easy to use and read. By using the head method, we can read the first 5 rows of the dataset. It comes in handy when we want to see how data looks like. The tail method is almost the same as head method, only the tail shows us the last 5 rows in the dataset. It helps a lot when we have a large dataset, and we need to take a look at the end of the dataset. By default, just like head method, both head and tail return 5 rows, but we can pass any number if we wanted. Describe method generates descriptive statistics, excluding NaN values, analyzes both numeric and object series, as well as dataframe column sets of mixed data types. The output will vary depending on what is provided. Shape return a tuple representing the dimensionality of the data frame. The format of the shape would be rows, columns. It gives us an idea of how big the data is. Here df columns return the column labels of the data frame. df is the data frame object, so the result is a list of the data frame column labels. I'm wrapping it in a string method because for some reason I can't print it directly. By default, read CSV considers the first row of the dataset as column names. We can change it by set the header parameter to any row number. For example, 1 or 3, or turn it off using none. Just like the previous example, here I'm passing none to the header option. By default, read_CSV assigns a default numeric index starting with 0 while reading the data. However, you can change this behavior by passing the column name to the index column option. We can also choose to read a specific subset of columns by passing the column names as a list to use. by default, while reading a CSV file. Read CSV considers a lot of missing values and marks them as NaN. In this example, I want to replace NA values with nothing. Let's figure out the data type of each column in the dataset. As you can see in the result, we have 3 columns as an object. 1 column is float, and 2 columns is an integer. The data type is very important to know what kind of data we are dealing with. By default, read_CSV ignores blank rows. But sometimes we need to turn it off by passing false to skip blank lines if we need to do something with them. Sometimes we have specific rows that need to be skipped while reading a CSV file. To do that, we can pass the row numbers as a list to the skip rows option. Always remember that Python start from number 0 and not 1 as in Excel spreadsheet. In this example, I'm skipping rows number 1, 4, 7, 9. To skip rows from the footer or the end of a file, use the skip footer option. Sometimes a data file is too big, and we just want to have the first few rows. In order to do that, we can pass the number of rows to import to the nRows option. Most of the time we do use Excel files instead of CSV files. So Pandas has a method called readExcel to read Excel files. Let's read the first 5 rows of the Titanic Excel file as a demo. Here I have a shareable Excel file link that I want to open and read from Google Drive. With Pandas we can do it easily. What if you want to read a specific sheet in an Excel workbook? If do know the reference of the sheet, for example 0 for the first sheet. Or if we do know the name of the sheet, we can pass it to the sheet name option. We can also create separate data frame objects. By using the Excel file class and sheet names method, we can return all sheet names in the Excel file in an easy way. Sometimes you find yourself dealing with a large data set with so many columns. And it's easy to deal with numbers as a header instead. In this situation we set the header to none. Another useful way to read a subset of columns of a dataset. In this example, I want columns 0, 5, 6, and 7. Read clipboard method is quite handy when it comes to bringing data to Pandas and create a data frame object. Everything in Python is an object. So it is in Pandas as well. Each column in a data frame is a Pandas series. Sometimes we use the dot notation. But in some cases, it doesn't work. So the regular way of defining a Pandas series is by using the name of the data frame and use the brackets within we pass the name of the specified column between single or double quotes. We can also create an object from another object. Just like in this example. I'm selecting 3 columns from the df data frame and create df1 as a new data frame object. Next is an example of how to read data from an HTML page from the web. I'm using Yahoo Stock as an example. Well, I think this pretty much is for today's video as the first part of the Pandas video series within the Microsoft Excel environment. Just like I did in the previous one. By the end of this video series, I will put a shareable PDF link in the description section below showing you step by step how you can do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.